Hey guys, what's up? RighteousGains here. Got another weekly update for you. So, for the first time, I think ever, I'm doing a weekly update not in the car. Just because couldn't go to the gym today, so got a lot of homework. I'm in my finals for this semester, so just gotta focus on homework. But regardless, still giving you guys an update. So, first of all, this week I dropped my calories. I dropped them to about 2,000, and that was the first time in this cut so far this year that I could feel it. I could feel the drop. So that was a bit tougher. But that also goes to show you the benefit of slowly cutting down on calories, because if you just drop them from whatever you're eating now to like as low as you could possibly go, trying to just blast, lose a bunch of fat really quick, you're gonna feel it. I didn't really feel it up until now, and it was a lose 5 pounds, so that's good. But anyway, dropped it to 2,000 this week. Started feeling the hunger. Messed up a little bit here and there, but regardless, I weighed myself yesterday and I was 201, which is good, because last time, I think just in my last video, I was 203, so I already dropped like 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds, so that's awesome. Fat percentage was 14.3, muscle was 48.9. I think it was still 48.9. Or did I hit 45? Something like that. The muscle one I keep track of, but I don't keep as much in my head. That's all. This is like just a crappy scale using electricity to try to read my body fat and muscle, so it's not like it's accurate anyway. It just kind of gives you a general idea if you're heading in the right direction. Anyway, so those are my numbers. I only went to the gym 3 times this week, again because this week and next week are my finals for this spring semester. So kind of just not able to go, full throttle in the gym because I got other things going on. But that's okay. I think what I'm going to do is next week I'm going to not go the front half of the week, because the last day I have any assignments due are Thursday, so I'm gonna probably miss Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'll probably try to go Thursday just in the morning, and then I'll do Friday, Saturday, so I can at least get 3 in again. So it's not ideal, but it is a good maintenance. So that's, I think, what I'm gonna do, because that way I can kind of focus on my homework at the beginning of the week, the only time I have, and then the last half of the week I'll load with my workouts. So, yeah, that's how I'm doing. I don't think there's any PRs to mention. Nothing that I didn't mention in the last video. I am going up in strength on my pike push-ups, my dips, but again, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that last video. As far as my calories go, like I said, I dropped to 2,000. There was only 2 days. Yesterday was really the main day where I kind of struggled to stay within the 2,000. The lower you go, the more you actually try to diet. The funny thing is, everyone talks about how dieting, it's not how do I say it? Because there's different arguments. People saying processed food, you want to avoid processed food to help you lose weight, and that's not necessarily true. You can have processed food. How do I say this? People will try to pinpoint different things that are the way that you're going to lose weight. It has to do with your insulin. It has to do with the processed food. You need to eat more clean. It has to do with the carnivore diet, the keto diet, a low-fat diet, vegan diet, whatever. There's a lot of different arguments people try to come up with. In the end, the goal is you have to count your calories. Basically, you don't have to count your calories. You have to get to a point where your intake of calories, you have to consume less calories than you're burning, right? So that's how it works, and all those different diets can get you to that point. And I've also had people make that argument. I've also had people make the argument, though, of what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter what type of diet you're doing, you just have to make sure your calories are lower, and that is absolutely true. However, I think the reason some people grab onto a specific diet is because that makes it easier for them, right? A lot of people like the keto diet. I don't know, for whatever reason. I think it's because it's easy to get your protein in when you do that, because fats and proteins kind of go together. You find them more naturally together, like in animals, and it's easier to eat, like, it's cheaper and easier to eat fatty meats that get you protein. Then you have a lot of fat, your hormones feel good, you're just kind of low on carbs. And same with the carnivore diet, low fat diet as well. The main point is, I think, in avoiding processed food, all those things make it easier for some people to get, lower their intake of calories. And I agree with that, because once you really start to cut your calories, and if you're counting them, like there's days, like I had an office party at the beginning of the week, right? And I made a bunch of potato salad, right? I even used like light mayonnaise or whatever. I was hoping they were going to eat it all. They didn't. So now I had like half a large bowl of like, potato salad. And even though I'm trying to diet, I also don't want to waste food. So I'm kind of eating that throughout the week. And it sucks because mayo has a lot of fat in it, even the light mayo. And so, I can't eat as much food, as much like voluminous. I can't eat as much food with as much volume, right? It's more calorie dense food because of the potato salad, right? And so as I was eating it, like every day, I saw like, my calorie intake shoot up whenever I ate that. I recorded it in my app, and how many I had left for the day was much lower. At the end of every day, I was hungry. I think that's actually a bigger reason why I was feeling hungry this week, is yes, I cut my calories, but I think it was also because I was eating food which wasn't filling me up, right? Because there was another day, I think Thursday, where we ate out, and I got like a big old piece of chicken, a salad, and some fries. And yeah, fries aren't great for you either, but the massive piece of chicken and the salad and the fries was much more filling and satisfying, right, than eating the potato salad with like something else, like a piece of meat. And so I was able to stay fuller for longer, right? And I didn't feel as hungry. So what really matters is that you just lower your calorie intake, or you burn more than you intake, right? Which is easier done by just not eating as much. It's hard to burn off calories. Try running off a Reese's and you'll be very disappointed. Got to run like 2 or 3 miles to run off one Reese's. Not just one cup, like the Reese's candy bar, like 2 of them. And yeah. Anyway, so even though that is technically true, like no one diet is technically like the answer. It just has to do with the calories, and people say like you can eat McDonald's and still lose weight, and that's true. They've proven that. However, you will be very hungry if you're eating McDonald's every day, because you can only have like 2 like sandwiches. That's not true, but like you're gonna not be able to eat that much, right? But if you eat not as processed foods, and I love my processed foods. I don't avoid them because I think that they're bad for you necessarily, or because I'm worried about like the nutritious density or the quality of the food. I mostly am concerned about just trying to make myself not feel hungry, right? And there's a lot of processed foods which I think don't do that as well. But if you're eating just like a salad every day, like I feel full for much longer. So anyway, that was a bit of a rant. So we're just gonna share a message with you guys. Oh, where did it go? I lost it. Okay, here it is. Tomorrow's Easter, so I got a nice scripture of the resurrection. It's going to be Mark 16, verse 6. And he saith unto them, Be not affrighted. Ye seek Jesus of Nazareth, which was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Behold the place where they laid him. But go your way and tell his disciples and Peter that he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall ye see him, and as he said unto you. That's it, guys. That's the message. Thanks for watching this week, and yeah, have a great day.